Portal of Pravis. The mission pack for Hexen 2 was developed by Raven and released in '98. It's got an additional class, the Demoness, who is one mean she-bitch. She's the only class to have a ranged starting weapon, which is nice, and her other arms are generally satisfying, especially the Tempest. Love the Tempest. Her glyphs are cleric-ish gas bombs, and she's pretty good actually. I like her. I've actually only played Pravis using her class as it seems appropriate, what with it being included alongside the new campaign. You get 2 hubs to travel around, doing all sorts of cool stuff. The snowy Black Marsh starter is really fun, and the Tibet-esque Tulku is amazing. I find there's not nearly enough faux Asiatic worlds in Western fantasy games, so I love it very much. The design is incredible and the new monsters are 100% beastly. Plenty of old favourites come out to play in Pravis, sure, but the new ones, the new ones are killer. Now, I've run into some conflicting information regarding stats for some of these guys. The wiki says one thing, but the source code says another. I'm gonna go with the source code. I could still be off in my interpretation, so feel free to explore the source on GitHub if you feel something isn't right. And as always, I appreciate you letting me know if something isn't right. Let's have a good old chat about it in the comments, eh? Time to dive in. The monstrous Arrow Boys are back, and they've got their winter coats on, snow foolin'. Essentially, these guys are the same as your normal bog-standard Night Archers, except they shoot blue arrows, which is really nice, and it fits in beautifully with the chilly atmos of Tulku. Deal with them in the same way you would ordinary archers and give them the cold shoulder. They don't appear to fire anything other than their blue arrows. They don't duck, and I don't think I've ever seen them fire a volley of projectiles. They just seem to stand and shoot, and that's about it. They also have some original sounds, which helps to differentiate them from normal archers. Excellent stuff. They're nice and weak, so even with the Demoness's first weapon, you can make short work of them. Ever wondered what it would be like to have Quake spawns in your Hexen? Well, now you do. These little rocky blobs leap from floor to ceiling and the walls, dodge your shots, and they'll spit red projectiles at you, which is super annoying. Actually, super annoying is a perfect description for these guys. You'll often encounter them in caves where they blend in superbly. With no monsters in sight, you'll blunder around, only realizing your mistake when you hear ghastly sucking noises and one of these Burks flies at your face, exploding violently. Try to snipe them from afar, and always approach any dingy level area as if you're gonna get pentacled, because you probably will. They go down with one well-aimed shot of the Firestorm, which is great, because their leaping will mean missed shots. Not good for your mana. If you drag their dead bodies across stone floors, you'll be able to hear the grinding of corpse and rock. Very nice. Oh dang, them big kitty cats are back again. And they would just love to play with your lifeless corpse, if only you'll let them. In Portals you get 2 new varieties, leopards and tigers, and they both act very similarly to jags and panthers from the base game. They'll run, roll, leap, turn invincible, and hack you to pieces. However, you can't rely on the trusty Mizera magic trick here. Things are a bit too frigid for lava pools, so you're gonna have to engage them in mortal combat, using a combo of weapons, artifacts, and smarts. Leps and Tigers will use their shields to reflect your shots, so you can't easily rely on sniping them from afar unless you have a lot of time up your sleeve and you aren't being bothered by other baddies. Instead, using your best weapons in a hit-and-run fashion will serve you well, as will engineering traps for you to lure them into. Tomes of power at the ready, kids. Just like the leopard dudes, but much stronger. Seriously, these guys will mess you up big time, so save often and be prepared to reload as you work out decent strategies to deal with them. As always, never neglect your tomes, and if you run across an Ovinomancer seal, save them for these boys, but you know, I can't recall seeing any seals in this expansion. Guess they didn't want you cheesing the pussies. Sorry, that sounded awful. Really strong Rakshasa vibes from these dudes, which I've got all the time in the world for. Let's sit down and have a yak. This big hairy SOB is the boss of the first hub, and from then on, Yakis appear in an array of different colors, sporting different health values and behaviors. Really fun. By my reckoning, except for the Yakman Lord, the other 3 types have their health designated by the color of their fur. With a base value of 250 and with the colors ordered 0, 1, and 2, where 0 is white, 1 is brown, and 2 is black, the color values are multiplied by 30 and added to the base amount. So white is the weakest and black is the strongest. pretty nifty. The Lord guards the end of the first hub. He's big, black, and quite cheeky. He'll spray out ice bolts quick as a bee, he'll dodge attacks with a delightfully cartoony screech, and he'll lumber after you to put some mud in your eye. He's got 400 HP and a small arena devoid of cover. You can get back out the way you came in, but it's a dead end. And you don't want this guy cornering you, so stick to the main area and circle strafe him while firing constantly. He won't take too long to go down, just don't let him get close. And dodge his icy blasts. Job done. This fella blends in nicely with his snowy home, and as such he'll call upon the elemental power of ice to spray you constantly while pummeling you up close. Just use cover when you can, snipe him, and he won't take too long to go down. He's the least likely to charge at you, and the most likely to use the ice attack. These guys are sitting on the fence with an even chance of charging or shooting ice. They have 30 more health than the white variety and are encountered in some pretty close spaces. As is the general rule with yaks anyway, attack from afar and slip out of his clutches if he shambles over to give you a hug. Don't let him corner you and keep on the move. Sorry about that. The toughest of the yaks, this final variety will come at you like a bull in a china shop, favoring the charge attack over the icy spray to a far greater degree. If you want to neuter him nice and quick, rifle through a Tome of Power and give him a taste of your lightning. Once again, smooth moves are required. Anticipate his charges, jump aside, get distance, and char grill some steaks. Great monster type, the Yak Man, very intimidating and with some very guttural grunts and roars. They're genuinely scary top-tier shit. The big bad, old forearms, and he's a naughty little fellow. His health is very interesting. It's scaled depending on the skill level or difficulty you're playing on. Easy is 0, medium is 1, hard is 2, and nasty is 3. At least, that's my understanding. I love the start of his level where there's these depictions of the 3 serpent riders rendered in the style of the temple. Lovely touch. Starting off, you get a whole bunch of goodies, all your weapons, and armor. Then an ominous portal leads you to Daddy P himself. Get your inventory well organized and map certain items to easy keys. Slap a Tome of Power onto your best weapon and let him have it. Unleash any summoning artifacts you may have to assist. You can't take them with you anyway. What you're doing essentially is destroying the blue shield that he has revolving around himself. It's made up of 6 pieces or shards, and they'll fall one by one as you lay more and more damage on him. Once the shield pieces are all gone, he's done for. You can escape the fight back to the starting area anytime you like with either a chaos device or by simply taking the portal you came through. Some items will respawn in the starting area too, so ducking back in can be helpful even if you're not wimping out. But do keep in mind that projectiles can follow you. Make a quick pit stop, but be mindful of anything on your tail. Keep your eyes on his hands when he's casting to predict the spell he's about to lay on you. Hands up is his lightning attack. Up and palms out is a creeping wall of fire. Circular movements is the pillar of fire. And Jazz Hands is a spray of blue shurikens. I find the shurikens the nastiest because they follow you and do such a huge hit of damage. The lightning isn't too bad if you avoid the center of the room. The pillar of fire is a slow burn. And the firewall is annoying, but if you're in a corner when it's cast and then move to an opposite corner when it spreads, it should miss you while it burns out. If you're taking the confrontation in stages and doing mid-fight saves, wait until he's teleported. Otherwise, you might have saved right before being toasted by his magic. Pravis will teleport around to one of the 3 platforms, pause for a moment, and then continue his attacks. During these teleport sequences, it's also a good time to beat a hasty retreat in case you need to reorder your artifacts or catch your breath. You'll know things are progressing well when he starts conjuring up earthquakes to destroy the pillars you'll be using as cover. The fallen stone will also make quick traversal of the area trickier, but keep laying on the damage. You're nearly there. When he gets smoked, he'll disappear in a puff of light and the 3 trapped souls of the Serpent Riders will be set free into the void, allowing them to do God knows what. Half of me hopes they're living out their afterlives nice and peacefully. The other half hopes they're off somewhere cooking up a worthy sequel. Time to amend some boo-boos. I'd like to say this was a deliberate contrivance to prolong my time with Hexen 2, but alas no. Just some oversights I'd like to patch up from the previous video. A mini-boss thingamajig that comes to life when you slap down that cut gem. Once it starts shooting, just take cover and reply in kind. There's not much to it, just don't take too many hits cause boy do they hurt. It fires what appears to be the same projectiles Famine uses, and they can be super nasty if you don't take cover in time, so duck out, shoot, take cover, rinse and repeat. Now, I'm more than willing to be wrong about the interpretation of some of this info. Decoding code is definitely not my strong suit, but I've identified what I believe to be the right stuff, so let's have at it. It looks like Small Bean Eidolon has a health value of 3000 base HP plus your skill level multiplied by 1000. Nice! It appears that Eidolon's Chaos Orb has 2000 health, which is why I like to whack it straight away. Or you'll be chipping away at it for ages while it restores his health. Ugh. When he gets all swole, Eido gets a covering of 10,000 HP, more than enough to withstand your constant attacks. If you hit him in the mouth when he's gonna roast you, it does more damage to him, so bear this in mind. But only focus on this once the orb is destroyed or your damage won't stick. So, Eido is a fierce bad guy, but he can easily get jammed in geometry or will just stand there and contemplate life while you smash up his orb. Not too aggressive, at least in my experience. I hope I'm fairly close with the info I strained from the saucy port. As I said, feel free to leaf through it yourself, those who have a machine mind, and let me know if I'm warm or dead cold. Either way, it was fun to dip back into Hex 2 and to, of course, investigate the dudes from Pravis. Now, fly, and go play some Hex 2, darn ya. Thanks for watching.
Eduardo and Friends.